Good morning. Happy Sunday to you all. Sava here from Football Heritage TV. Hope you're all well. Hope you all had nice Saturday nights. Hopefully, for the Spurs fans out there, you're feeling a little bit better today about proceedings. Talking of Tottenham and talking about the Premier League. Today, I wanted to talk about the top four because, as the title says, the race is on. And what a race it's going to turn out to be. It looked, for all intents and purposes, that Man United had a position tied up, that Newcastle would have a position tied up. But it's now getting all a little bit congested in between. If I look at the table, between third and seventh, there are 7-point gaps, but with teams with games in hand. So this is going to go down to the wire in my book. So I want to have a look at those candidates and then we'll talk about them all. So if we look, you've got Newcastle currently in third, Man United currently in fourth, Tottenham Hotspur in fifth, Aston Villa in sixth, and Brighton in seventh. Now, let's work our way backwards, shall we? Let's start with Brighton Hove Albion. Brighton, what a surprise package. What a wonderfully run football club they are. From their scouting to their management to the brand of football they play, losing their top players year in, year out, and still just keep plodding along and keep getting better. The work was started by Potter. It's been carried on and taken to a new level by De Zerbi. Great club. Now, Brighton may be 7 points behind Newcastle and Man United at the moment. But importantly, they've only played 29 games. They've played 29 games. So if they win their 2 games in hand on everyone, they could be on 55 points, therefore a point behind Newcastle and Man United. Obviously, in that time, Man United and Newcastle would have played other games. But it gives you an idea of how well they've done. Will they get into the top 4 in your opinion? I'd love to hear your opinions on this. Will Brighton make that top 4? For me, I think it might just be a tiny stretch. But they're flying. They're a very good team. They were, let's be fair, they were robbed at Spurs last week. They absolutely battered Chelsea yesterday at Chelsea. And they are up there. They are up there on 49 points after 29 games. What a wonderful football team they are. So you tell me, Brighton, yes, no, too soon? Can they go again next year? Will they lose players? They're the first team. Second team, Aston Villa in sixth. Now, Aston Villa have played 2 games more and have got a point more than Brighton. So you might say Brighton are in a better position. But points on the board are better than games in the bag, right? Let's be really clear. But Aston Villa have won 7 of their last 8 Premier League games, drawing the other one. So a possible 22 points from 24 games. Phenomenal work by Unai Emery and the players. Doing that with players like Konza, Mings, Young, McGinn. I'm not knocking all these players, but no one would have had them in a top 4 race because Gerrard left them when they were 17th and they're now sitting there in 6th and the most informed team in the Premier League alongside Man City. Convincingly beat a Newcastle team that we'll talk about in a minute. So Aston Villa, again, a year too soon. Could they go again next year? Will anybody pick their players off? Who would they lose? Would it be an Ollie Watkins? Would it be Buendia? A McGinn? A Ramsey in midfield who's highly rated? What do you reckon? Aston Villa, a year too soon? Maybe for me, but I'd love to know your opinions on this. So Aston Villa down there in 6th. Then sandwiched in between these 5 teams. Tottenham Hotspur, my club. Feels like we've been 4th and 5th for 4th, 5th or 6th all season. We've been in and around there. I think we flew out of the blocks with some very good wins against teams we should be beating, but it was the best start we've made to a Premier League season. Everything seemed like it was all going well in the Spurs garden, and since then it's just been a rocky, bumpy road, should we say? The whole Conte in, Conte out, Levy in, Levy out. Paratici and all of his stuff going on. Then Stellini, is he just the same as Conte? And transfers players that have come in and not really played. You know, like Basuma, Jed Spence came in and then went out on loan. Anyway, but Spurs are still there. We're still there, having played 31 games and we're 3 points above Aston Villa and 3 points behind Man U and Newcastle. But Newcastle have a game in hand and Man United have got 2 games in hand starting today away at Nottingham Forest. So can Spurs do it? We did it last year. beating Arsenal by 2 points, I believe, in the end. And obviously, the rest is history because Arsenal are now 20 points above us with a game in hand. 23 points, they'll go above us if they win today. But Spurs have been there, seen it and done it before and can get over the line. Will they? I predicted 4th at the beginning of the season, and I stuck with that all season thinking we would because of our goal power. But in the last sort of 7 or 8 games, we've managed to lose to Leicester, lose to Sheffield United, lose to Wolves, lose to Bournemouth, draw with Southampton, draw with Everton. And it's not looking great. So listen, I'm on the edge. I'm not sure if Spurs will get overtaken by Brighton if they win their 2 games in hand. So again, I'm not sure on the whole Tottenham piece at the moment. I said 4th. I'll have to stick with that, but it's becoming tougher and tougher. And Spurs' next 3 games, by the way, Newcastle away, Man United at home, Liverpool away. So I think we'll know in 3 games' time. And I'll be amazed if Spurs manage to win any of those games. But this is Tottenham. Never say never. Then we move to the current top 2. So we start with, the current 2 that are in the top 4. So we look at Man United, 56 points after 29 games. So they've got a game, 2 games in hand on all of those teams around them other than Brighton and Newcastle. Starting with Nottingham Forest today, they have to play Spurs still as well. I make Man U favourites. I just think they've got quite a deep squad. I think they will have enough to get over the line. They don't lose many games. This will aid really badly if Nottingham Forest manage to beat them at 4:30 today. But I make them favourites. They've got Eriksen to come back, who I think has been a revelation for them before he got injured. However, they have lost Lisandro Martinez. They've lost Varane out for the season. Rashford's out for a couple of games. They're in the FA Cup semi. They're also in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. So there's a lot of games going on. I just feel that they've got enough in the tank to get over the line in the top 4 places. Now, the last team is Newcastle United. Newcastle United are currently sitting in 3rd. 56 points, the same as Man United, having played a game more. If they win their game in hand, Newcastle, over Tottenham, they will then stretch that gap to 5th to 6 points. But the manner in which they were the informed team in the league, they'd won 5 games, dispatched teams quite easily. Then they had that game yesterday where you looked at them and it was like, oh, everything that Newcastle have done well all season has gone out the window. Not gone out the window, but it wasn't on show yesterday. Conceding 3 goals, that's not like Newcastle. They were being pulled apart. Villa were swarmed over them for a lot of the game. But they have a game in hand. They're up there. They don't concede too many goals as a rule. They've got the best defence in the league, having conceded 24 goals in 30 games. Have they got the experience? Have they got enough in the tank to get them over the line? Eddie Howe, for me, has done a sublime job, a really, really good job. So, I don't know. Will they get over the line? All I know is it's going to be very interesting. Now, there is one other team down in 8th, Liverpool, who've got 44 points. 2 games in hand. I just think, for me, they're 12 points off the top 4 at the moment. I just feel like that's too big a gap with 9 games to go. However, win their last 9 games, you never know. Can't see them doing it. Other than that, we've got Arsenal, Man City, who will definitely get top 4 in a fight for the title. Manchester City are flying. Liverpool have won 7 of their last 8, drawing the other one as well. So what happens? Arsenal to beat West Ham. It's kicking off in a minute. Will they win that? I'm not sure. I hope not, because I don't want Arsenal to win the league. Listen, I've said all season, I think Man City will win the league. Again, I will stick with that prediction. I think they've got the momentum, and I think that the game they've got that will swing the 3 points will be in a couple of weeks' time against Arsenal at the Etihad. So let me know your thoughts. Who's going to finish 3rd? Who's going to finish 4th? Who's going to get Europa League? Who's going to miss out and get Conference League? And who's going to win the title? Thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed recently. Really enjoy it, talking about football. Hope you enjoy it too. Thank you very much. And we will see you soon.
And here comes Hurst. He's got some people are on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now. It's 4.